All right, welcome back again, everyone. This is Mr. Crawford. Today we are talking about Integrated Math 2's Practice 8, which is known as Function Operations. The goal of this assignment is to show you that you may be given a couple of different functions. This is the f of x function and the g of x function, and asked to perform any number of operations to these two functions. So we're going to go through a few of these. Suppose you were asked to add f of x and g of x. Well, f of x is x plus 4. And you're going to add it to g of x, which is 2x minus 10. When you're adding functions, you're just looking for like terms to combine. X and 2x would make 3x, and a positive 4 and a negative 10 would make negative 6. If you're asked to subtract the functions, keep in mind that the second one always has to go into a set of parentheses, because the minus sign here actually applies to every term in that function. There are two terms in here, so when the 2x comes down, it'll become negative 2x, and then a negative times a negative 10 actually turns it into a positive 10. So x minus 2x is a negative 1x, and a positive 4 and a positive 10 is positive 14. If you had to go the other way, g of x minus f of x, the g function goes first, and the f function goes second. Change the sign of each one of these, you would get 2x minus 10 minus x minus 4. 2x minus x is just a positive 1x, and a negative 10 and a negative 4 is negative 14. If you're asked to multiply the two functions, keep in mind that this is a binomial times a binomial, which works like this. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times a negative 10 is negative 10x. 4 times 2x is 8x. And 4 times negative 10 is negative 40. Most times you end up with like terms in the middle, which we do here as well. Negative 10x plus 8x is a negative 2x. So we end up with 2x squared minus 2x minus 40. Coming down to the next line, sometimes you're asked to plug a function inside another function. This says f of g of x. So we want to take the f function, which once again is x plus 4, and we want to replace the x in this function with g of x, which is 2x minus 10. So if this gets replaced with 2x minus 10, it would now look like this, 2x minus 10 plus 4. The negative 10 and positive 4 are like terms, so we get 2x minus 6. Moving the other way, we want to take the g function, which is 2x minus 10, and substitute in for its x the entire f function, which once again is still x plus 4. If I distribute my 2, I would get 2x plus 8, and then minus 10. Positive 8 and the negative 10 are like terms. You would end up with 2x minus 2. If we want to do a number and number substitution, this is f of g of 2. The very first thing we focus on is the inside function, g of 2. The g function is 2x minus 10. So we'd like to plug the number 2 in for x. 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 minus 10 makes negative 6. If you take negative 6 now, all right, and take that answer and plug it into the f function, which once again is x plus 4, it would say negative 6 plus 4, better known as negative 2. Going the other way here with negative 7, negative 7 is supposed to get plugged into the f function, which would be here. If you plug in negative 7 plus 4, you'll get a negative 3. Then take your answer of negative 3 and plug it into the g function right here. 2 times negative 3 minus 10. It gives you negative 6 minus 10, better known as negative 16. Sometimes they'll tell you that the two functions are equal to one another and then want you to solve for x. So we're going to put x plus 4 equal to 2x minus 10. If I'm solving for x, I have one on each side, so I'm going to have to get rid of one of the x's. If I want to get rid of this positive 1x, I can just introduce him to negative 1x. But anything I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So now I would end up with 4 equals x minus 10. Then I could add 10 to both sides, and I would find out that x equals 14. This works for all types of functions, no matter if they look like they're starting to get more complicated. Take this g of x function, which is quadratic, x squared minus 25, and the h of x function, which is x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay? I'm going to do this third one down here for the video. This wants h of g of 4. So the very first thing I need to do is take 4 and plug it in for x into the g function here. The g function is x squared minus 25. When I plug in 4, I get 4 squared, which is 16 minus 25, and that makes a negative 9. I now take my negative 9 answer and plug it in for the h function, which is here. So I would end up with negative 9 squared plus 3 times negative 9 plus 2. Negative 9 squared is 81. Positive 3 times negative 9 is a negative 27, and then plus 2. And 81 minus 27 plus 2 all turns out to be 56. Okay, I'll let you guys try these other ones here on your own, and tune in for part 2 to see the backside.